Hello everyone, welcome to my first video. Alright, in this channel, the main aim is to try to learn every single language on the European continent, right? Now it's quite a challenge, right? I'm going to start off with Greek. Now the reason why I did this, and the reason why actually I titled my channel Alex the Flow Bro, is simply because upon a lot of reflecting about what I want to do in life, and I don't want to get too deep, I've realized that I'm most happy when I'm in the flow state and I'm bettering myself. I think that the same can be said for a lot of you guys out there. And yeah, so whenever I'm doing something that is productive, or quote unquote, whenever I'm learning something, learning a new skill, a language, whatever it is, that's when I feel most fulfilled. And obviously when I'm not disciplined, when I'm not doing things that push myself closer to a better version of me, I feel not so good. So in this channel, I figured I would document my journey of attempting to learn every single language, doing a little bit every day and seeing how we go. I also do want to cover other things as well, like just general life lessons I've learned. I mean, I'm 25, I'm not exactly old, I'm not wise, but I've learned a thing or two, and hoping I can share that as well. But I don't want to be another cringe like productivity, success podcaster. I want to just keep it very raw and down to earth, and not be someone that I'm not, essentially. So with that in mind, just a quick introduction to myself. So I am Alex, I am 25, I am currently living in the UK in a place called Bristol. This is where I grew up, but I've lived in London, I've lived in Manchester, I've lived in Hong Kong. So yeah, I am currently just working right now in Bristol, and yeah, I felt a strong urge to start this channel and document my journey of learning things like Greek, for example. So yeah, why am I learning Greek? Well, firstly, I just wanted to address this. So the way I'm going to approach this challenge is to utilize a method I learned from a book I read a while ago, many years ago, that has been stewing in the back of my mind. It's called Fluency Made Easy. It's by a language YouTuber. I can't remember off the top of my head what his name, but I'll link him in the description, because definitely check him out if you're interested in learning languages. The book he wrote really opened my eyes to how you should actually go about learning languages. In the book, he definitely doesn't advise you to memorize tables of verbs and nouns and things like that. Quite the opposite. The general approach he has is to learn a language as if you're a baby, how a baby would learn a language, through immersion. And we're going to get onto some snippets of his book later on, but I just wanted to clarify initially how I'm going to start learning Greek and other languages. So it's going to be not your typical way that you might learn in school. Speaking about the guy who wrote the book, he comes from a very typical background of language learning, where you pick up a language in school. I think he did Spanish all through high school, ended up forgetting all of it. But through his love of and his interest in anime, he started learning Japanese, and he actually was able to teach himself how to learn Japanese. Eventually, I think culminating in him actually traveling to Japan, and I think he achieved fluency, and he's gone on with the method that he taught himself to learn, I think, something like 7 languages. I know he speaks Chinese, I know he speaks Dutch and Russian, something like that. And yeah, essentially I'm going to be replicating his method. So he's published a book. If you want to check that out, I'll also link it in the description. Again, not I don't really know the guy, I'm not affiliated with him, but I think it's a great book, so I highly recommend you check it out. And yeah, this is a snippet from his book. So in terms of language difficulty, you've got easy, medium, and hard relative to an English native speaker. Now, I only really speak English. I speak a little bit of Chinese because I'm mixed race, English-Chinese. But yeah, I was a bit lazy as a child and never really put the effort in. Maybe that will change once I've figured this out. But yeah, from an English native speaker perspective, Greek would be medium, right? So I don't know what company or data service this is from. I'm just going to take it as face value. And yeah, you can see Greek is there along with like Russian, Thai, Hebrew. Easy language would be something like French or Spanish or German. As an English speaker, it's probably something to do with the alphabet. Like clearly Greek has a different alphabet, but I did learn ancient Greek at school in the UK. There's something called GCSEs, which is kind of like your mid-teens exams. And yeah, I was able to learn a bit about ancient Greek, but I'm pretty sure it's very different to modern Greek. I do know a bit about the alphabet, so perhaps that will help me accelerate my learning. Maybe, we'll see. But yeah, so I'm expecting realistically 44 weeks to achieve proficiency, conversational fluency. So if I learn, as he recommends in the book, between 30 minutes to an hour a day, so 30 minutes of learning, 30 minutes of like watching a TV show in the language or a film, then that would put me at, let's just say 30 minutes. So 3.5 hours a week times 44. I can't do that in my head. 150 hours maybe, something like that. No, wait, that's definitely wrong. No, that's all right. Yeah, no, that sounds about right. So yeah, hopefully we can sort of put as a goalpost. Like, I'm not expecting it to come quickly. It's more about consistency than anything. And I think, within a couple of weeks or a month of actually doing it day in, day out, I think the task itself will become a bit effortless. Because, I've already got that routine going of like doing a bit every day. So that's the idea. Okay, so why Greek? Well, I mean, do I need to say any more? I mean, look at that beach in the bottom right there. That is banging. Like, I want to go to Greece. I've never been myself. And I think if I can speak the language, that would just make any holiday there like 10 times better. And who knows, maybe I could move there one day. Beautiful climate, Mediterranean, lots of culture. I mean, look at that big ass Colosseum. That's not the right word. It's more like a temple, probably. I don't even remember what the correct terminology is for that, but bottom left, look at that. I mean, look at that windmill right there. I think it's a windmill. It might not be, but looks pretty cool. I mean, enough said about that windmill. Top left, I think that's Mykonos, but I'm not too sure. Either way, beautiful place. And yeah, lots of islands. And I've had my fair share of island hopping when I lived in Hong Kong. But Greece has just got so many more islands. And yeah, feels like it would be a really great place to, explore. And, find a bit of peace. And speaking the language, I think, will allow me to, really make the most of integrating. And who knows, like, if I do get to fluency and, I have a great time in Greece, I might document that as well. So yeah, that would be obviously in a year's time or 44 weeks, wherever it's going to be. So yeah, that's it. After Greek, I might learn Spanish or French, depends, not too sure, or German, we will see. But yeah, that's why I'm learning Greek, because it's a cool place. So in terms of the method we're going to use, the Fluency Made Easy method that he teaches in the book. Here are some snippets from the book. I obviously hope he doesn't come after me and try to take this down, but yeah, I mean, if he's watching this, I doubt it, then yeah, thank you so much for this method. I'm just going to read some snippets out for you. So with the FME method, the goal is to get you a conversationally fluent level in any easy language within 6 months, for any medium language within 9 months, and for any hard language within 12 months. So yeah, all right, we're pushing for 9 months with Greek. That is not a long time at all. Sure, you won't be perfect after that amount of time. So master a language can take a lifetime. However, you will get good enough to express anything you want to say, connect to others, have a laugh, and generally be conversationally fluent, which is the aim, really. Not looking to just achieve like mastery, not looking to sound like I grew up in Greece, just want to be able to communicate well, understand everything. That's the aim. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough here. So the beginner stage is what he calls input, right? So this stage starts from the second you decide to learn a new language and generally lasts for 3 to 4 months for easy, 4 to 7 for medium, and 7 to 9 for hard. The input stage is reminiscent of how we've all learned our mother language at a young age. Put simply, it's all about taking in as much information as possible. Learning new words, reading books, listening to how words are pronounced, listening for differences in grammar, listening to the natural cadence, sound of native speakers, and observing the body language of people while they speak are all crucial during this phase. The focus is not on speaking at this point. The focus is not on intensively studying grammar rules. The focus is not on writing or texting. Input is all about getting yourself familiar with your language. More specifically, it involves utilizing a solid beginner and intermediate program that will take you from knowing nothing to understanding most of the words you hear. In combination with watching a surplus of TV, YouTube videos, films, and other form of media in order to get your ear accustomed to the native rate of speech and pronunciation from day one. So I think it's a very logical way to do it. Like, I'm totally on board with, in the initial stages, like watching a lot of TV, just immersing yourself in the language. The goal is to understand the words. I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't want to be writing out verbs, writing out nouns, like memorizing tables of words. Like, that is not a natural way one learns a language. And I think your brain is more accustomed to this from a young age. Like, yes, a baby is exposed to a language 24/7, and you only have an hour a day, but that hour is very targeted, right? It's very focused. So, and obviously when you get into the flow state, when you're really in it, I think that will be an incredibly enjoyable experience. So yeah, we're going to get onto the beginner and intermediate programs he talks about, but obviously I do recommend you read the book and learn a bit more about the method from him. But yeah, it says here at the bottom, the end of the input stage is typically marked by the ability to understand media, so that's TV, YouTube, etc., in your target language without the use of subtitles or external translation. So I think initially, what we're going to do is we're going to watch maybe Greek shows on Netflix if there are any. Might need to do Greek VPN or something, but there's a great extension which I could leave in the description as well, called Language Reactor, which allows you to double up subtitles, so you can do English and you can do the native language. So that way, rather than like regular Netflix where you just got the one language, you can actually compare the sentences side by side, which I think is really good for picking out words, sentence structures, like noticing differences, etc. I think that's all very useful. After we've done input stage, which I think would be 6 months or so for Greek, the output stage starts from when you start to understand the majority of words and sentences you hear in your target language. Right? The output stage will last anywhere between 2 to 4 months for all language levels. So the focus here in the output stage is to speak, write, and text as much as possible with your native speakers. Communication is key. The exact form of communication you take is up to you. Some have no interest in writing or texting. Some have a strong interest in being able to do it all. Thus, in the output stage, the focus lies upon coming up with as many of your own sentences as possible, communicating them to a native speaker, and getting feedback on certain aspects, right? So grammar, pronunciation, etc. The only way to get better, faster, and more natural at speaking a new language is practice. That's what this stage is all about: practice, practice, practice. So I think this makes a lot of sense, right? Once you've fully immersed yourself in the language, then you actually need to practice speaking it. And as a baby would, it starts off very simple, and maybe you get the sentence structures wrong, etc. initially, but over time, you eventually pick up the correct way to say things, and it really only comes from firstly understanding a lot of the words, because if you only know like 10% of the most commonly spoken words in a language, it's going to be pretty hard to communicate your thoughts. So that's what the input stage is all about. And in the output stage, you're just focusing on being able to correctly express yourself, right? So he says here, the output stage will primarily have you utilizing online websites in order to get in contact with either language tutors, teachers, or pen pals. The stage reaches a conclusion at the time when you feel you've reached conversational fluency and can express most things you'd want to say in a relatively effortless manner. So yeah, excellent way to structure it. So yeah, again, highly recommend you check out this book, but this is how we're going to do it. An advanced stage, we're not really going to be going for this because, as I said, we're not really looking to achieve mastery of any language, only really conversational fluency. But yeah, he says here, this stage is optional. If you seek only to reach conversational fluency in your target language before moving to your next language, then solely completing the output stage and moving on will suffice. However, if you seek to master the language you're studying, then the refinement stage is for you. So, at this point, you've already achieved a lot, and I'm probably going to be moving on from this point. But yeah, if you guys are, following the similar method as you watch my videos, maybe you'll prefer to actually go the full way. That might even allow you to maybe live in the country comfortably, and like really take in the culture and the differences, etc. But yeah, for me, it feels like you're just getting percentage points on top of most of the gains that you have made. The way this stage works is it takes the existing communication you're having with natives and bolsters it by introducing specific grammar study, spaced repetition, vocab review, and different aspects of immersion. The refinement stage has no specific end. Just like learning an instrument, learning a language is a lifelong journey that does not have a finite endpoint. You can always improve even in your first language. Generally, in order to get from conversationally fluent to a near native, highly advanced level will require 1 to 4 years of on and off study. However, since you've already built a solid foundation for yourself, study need not be as constant or time consuming as the first 2 stages. So yeah, as he says here, you're really just you're trying to perfect the language, so that requires more advanced grammar study, maybe using like an app like Anki, which I'm sure you guys have heard of. I can link that in the description as well, spaced repetition, vocab reviews, and yeah, things like that. But yeah, as I said, not really feeling this bit. Anyway, how am I going to start? Well, I'm going to start with Pimsleur. Now, if you guys haven't heard of Pimsleur, I'm on the check-in page already. Getting a bit ahead of myself there. But Pimsleur is like a language learning company founded, potentially, I'm not sure if it's founded by a guy called Dr. Pimsleur, but the method they use has been backed by a lot of science. They've done a lot of research into it. Here we go, Paul Pimsleur. There you go, that's the geezer. What a cool name. But yeah, it says here, scientifically proven set of principles designed to take learner directly to the heart of the language. So it's just very efficient in what they do, based on science. So they utilize things like graduated interval recall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with this beginner course. So I think it's going to be something like 30 lessons in Greek. I think you can get a monthly subscription of this. So you got loads of languages here, whatever you want to learn. So if I do Greek, then yeah, £17. That's probably something like $20 for Americans. And that will, if I can do that in a month, that would be excellent, because then I can get it done and not have to spend the next $20 or £70 on it. But yeah, that's going to be the method. So what I'm going to do is film myself working through Pimsleur. Obviously, I'm not going to actually share the recorded content, because that would be probably breaking multiple copyright laws or whatever. So I'll probably just film myself repeating it back into the camera, and maybe just sharing my thoughts after each lesson, and that way then you can track my progress, and we can see how it goes from there. No one's probably going to watch this, but it's going to be a good journey for me to track on here. So yeah, I'm going to cut to the first lesson now of the Pimsleur Greek course, beginner course, and I'm going to get some snippets of that, and then going forwards, every day I'm going to post a bit about it, and I hope to sprinkle some other videos here and there about general learning, being productive, flow state, these sorts of things. I know it's very overdone, but still want to share my thoughts as well. So, going to cut now to the first lesson. Okay everyone, we are in. You can see Pimsleur app there on my phone. Greek Modern Level 1. So we're going to crack on with this. Obviously I'm not going to share the audio on the video because that would probably breach copyright or something or other. So we're just going to crack on with it. I've got Greece in the background there. Brought up a video just to get the vibes going. And yes, I am in a different shirt. I got hungry, I went to eat, forgot about this, went to the gym, back now, and we're gonna get started, okay? So you're gonna hear maybe snippets of the course or maybe just me talking to myself, but I'll have the, maybe some subs or something, maybe the Greek as well, on the screen so you can follow along in some ways. But yeah, lesson 1, let's get it, 30 minutes long. Yeah, probably not going to do the whole thing on video, maybe just do snippets, let's see how it goes. I'm winging this. Okay, so I just listened to a conversation, about 10 seconds long. This is what it sounded like to me. It literally sounded like gibberish, so already not off to a good start. So American man speaking to a Greek woman, wants to start a conversation, so he says, excuse me. I think he said sinomi. A bit less. Signomi. English. Anglika. Ka. Stress the last part of the word apparently. Anglika. Do you understand? What? Kata la venete. I just went to turn the light on. Kata la venete aglika. Do you understand English? Ohi means no. Ohi. No sir is ohi kilie. Damn, this is hard. I understand. Kata la venno. Interesting, changing the end of the verb. Damn, look at that beach. That looks insane. That's why we're doing this, boys and girls. Excuse me. Signomi. I don't understand. What? Didn't catch that. Venn. I did not catch that at all. Venn something? Venn diagram? Venn is a negative. Okay, so Venn's a negative. Venn catalaveno. Venn catalaveno aglika means I do not understand English. Ellinika means the Greek language. That's crazy. You know, like Hellenism or... Okay, that could be massively interpreted wrong if said incorrectly. Ellinika. That is just one syllable away from being horrifically offensive. Ellinika. So I can really tell that's just, I'm about halfway through the course, or the first lesson of the course. There's a lot of repetition, spaced repetition, and then once they've kind of drilled a word or a phrase into your head, they then start to test you by combining these phrases together in ways that they haven't done before, which I think is really interesting. Legal, a little. Go, it's a weird G sound. Legal. It's saying it's a cross between go and yes. Are you American? Americanos. So the stress is at the end of the word, Americanos. Iste. Iste means you are. Okay, the word yes. Ne. That's so funny because ne also means yes in Korean. I randomly know that. So the word for yes in Greek is the same as the word for yes in Korean. So yes miss is ne vis penis. What? Ves penis. I understand a little Greek. Catalaveno liho alinika. So now we're re-listening to the initial conversation, which was gibberish for me when I first heard it. Hopefully now it's going to make a bit more sense based on the last 23 minutes that we've just listened to. Still kind of sound like gibberish a bit. Okay, we are done with lesson 1. What I can say from lesson 1 with confidence is that the language is very fast. It's got short, sharp vowels. It's almost like Spanish in a way, kind of, even though I don't speak Spanish at all, the way the vowels are and just like the syllables, they're just very fast. What have I learnt? Well, as you saw from those clips, I know what the word English is now, Aglika. I know what Greek is, Ellinika, which sounds like, you know, Hellenism, which I think means like the study of like Greek history and culture. I know what like you are is, as in like the word you are, which is iste. Are you American? Iste Americanos. I know what the word to understand, the verb to understand is. I think that's the first word they taught you, which I suppose makes sense. I understand is catalaveno, and you understand is catalavenete. So there's clearly like a verb difference there at the end. I don't remember the exact verb differences in ancient Greek. I don't think it's the same. So I think they've changed it up. I might be wrong though. But yeah, the word for little is licho, but the way you pronounce it is a bit weird. It's like not quite a G sound, but it's more like a G and a Y. Do you understand English? Catalavenete, Aglika. Also the negative, so like I do not understand, ven. So if I say I do not understand Greek, it would be ven catalaveno ellinika. And yeah, so that's kind of lesson 1 done. Feeling good, feeling like language is hard though, so yeah, it's going to take some time to learn it, and obviously you've got the alphabet as well, which is completely different, but yeah, we'll get there. We'll cross that bridge when it comes. But yeah, this would be the end of lesson 1 and video 1, and yeah, join me in video 2 where we'll be taking on lesson number 2. So thanks very much guys, have a good one.